For a long time, this was just another idea in a group chat. One of those plans everyone talks about, but nobody expects to happen. And somehow, this one did. A few months ago, one of our friends told us he was getting married, and almost immediately, someone suggested a bachelor trip. The funny thing wasn't choosing the destination, it was finding a weekend when everyone was actually free. Work, meetings, family commitments, everyone was busy with something. But somehow, we managed to make it happen, and this trip to Vagamon became one last excuse to get everyone together before the wedding. The day started with me ironing a t-shirt. Not exactly the most exciting beginning, but every trip starts somewhere. I spent some time waiting outside, and eventually, the car arrived. The moment everyone gets inside a car together after weeks of planning, the trip has already started. Doesn't matter where you're going. The conversations immediately picked up from where they left off, as if nobody had been busy for the last few months. Our first stop was the petrol station. Nothing special, just fuel, stretching our legs, and making sure everyone was actually awake. Then we got back on the road. After a while, we stopped for tea. And in Kerala, tea stops rarely mean just tea. There were banana fritters, or pazhampori as we call it, fresh snacks, hot tea, people talking over each other. At that point, the destination still felt far away, but nobody seemed to care. We were also waiting for the second group to arrive. Another car, more friends. And somehow, the moment they arrived, the energy changed completely. High fives, hugs, louder conversations. The trip suddenly felt complete. A little later, someone got hungry again, which wasn't surprising, because food somehow becomes a full-time activity during trips like these. So we stopped again, this time for lunch. It was a small local restaurant, the kind of place you might drive past without noticing, but the food was surprisingly good. Biryani, parota, beef fry, chicken curry. Simple food, but exactly what we needed. One thing I've noticed about road trips, the places you remember most are rarely the places you planned. Usually it's the random tea shops and small restaurants in between. After lunch, the roads slowly started changing. The air became cooler. The rain started appearing in small drizzles, and the drive became even better. At one point, I got out and started walking for a bit. No music, no conversations, just the sound of insects, wind, and the forest around us. Some places don't ask for your attention, they naturally take it. A little later, we stopped at a local toddy shop. Most people stop there for the toddy. We were mainly interested in the pork fry. I stepped inside the kitchen. Pork sizzling, spices everywhere. The kind of place where you know the food will be good before tasting it.
Boys, చూడండి കൊള്ളാം പാഴ്സലാക്കിയോ കാട്ടുള്ള പീസ് ആ ഗുളുഗുളു അതിനാണ് ടേസ്റ്റ്.
The pork definitely lived up to expectations. So much that we packed extra for later. And then we continued climbing higher. Fog everywhere. Plantations stretching into the distance. The kind of weather that makes you want to keep driving. Eventually, we reached the property. The rooms were okay, nothing extraordinary, but the view completely sold the place. Mountains, mist, an infinity pool looking straight into the valley. Nobody was looking at the rooms anymore. Everyone just stood there quietly for a moment, taking it all in. Of course, that quiet moment didn't last very long. The pork came out, the drinks came out, the conversations got louder, and the bachelor trip officially began. The funny thing about trips like this is that nobody remembers exactly what was discussed. only how it felt. One story leads to another. Someone gets teased. Someone becomes the joke for the next hour. And suddenly it's evening. Eventually, somebody jumped into the pool. After that, nobody stayed dry for very long. The next few hours were mostly swimming, laughing, making fun of each other, and creating memories that probably shouldn't be repeated publicly. At some point, everyone got hungry again, which felt impressive considering how much we had already eaten. More food appeared, more conversations happened, and the night slowly continued. Outside, the weather somehow kept getting better. Cool air, mist, mountain silence. For a while, everyone just sat outside talking. No plans, no rush, no deadlines, just time together. The next morning started very differently. The same mountains, the same view, but now everything was covered in morning mist. Nobody was in much of a hurry. The trip had already done what it needed to do. Eventually, we headed out for breakfast. Parota, egg curry. Not exactly my everyday breakfast, but trips have their own rules. After breakfast, we visited a nearby hanging bridge. The views were beautiful. Lots of walking, lots of photos, and a few moments where everyone pretended not to be scared. Eventually, we made our way back, packed our things, had one final meal, and started thinking about heading home. By the end of the trip, we probably spent more time eating than doing anything else. And honestly, that sounds about right. A bachelor trip. Good food, too many inside jokes, a mountain view that nobody wanted to leave, and one last weekend together before a wedding. A few years from now, we probably won't remember every conversation from this trip, but we'll remember the drive, the fog, the pool, The pork fry, the terrible jokes, the endless eating, and the feeling of having everyone together in one place again. The older you get, the harder that becomes. Maybe that's why trips like these start meaning a little more with time. Not a bad way to spend 2 days, and definitely not one we'll forget anytime soon.